What is going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Aaron here. It is Friday, and what an amazing week we've had in the markets, guys. It started off pretty hairy, let's be honest, but now we're ending the week with a bang. And as you can see here, guys, there's been a nice uplift in the markets, and of course there's a lot of greed and excitement. So what side are you on? Are you bull or bear? You tell us in the comments below, but today we're going to be focusing on many topics, including Memecoin Wars, V33 dexes on Linea, Chainlink, and much more, guys. So stick with me in the video because we are diving deep. Alright guys, diving into the markets today, as you can see here, only a slight rise in the overall market cap, 1.2%, but yes, it definitely does feel a bit more bullish, doesn't it, guys? It definitely does. This time last weekend, if you remember, I was telling you not to open your portfolio because it was blood red, but today we're in the green and things are looking good. Okay, Bitcoin has barely moved, as you can see, 0.1%, but there are major outliers that have grown double digits, and some even more than that, actually, if you dive into the weeds. Now, look, as you can see here, even XRP, which is a huge token by market cap here, right, guys? It's actually 8% up today, which is a big rise for a token in the top three. But look here, one of the major gainers here is Pendle. As you can see, Pendle here is starting to finally get some recognition for what amazing, DeFi protocol that it is. Let's not forget, it has some of the highest TVL, over $6 billion in TVL, guys, and of course a market cap that is far lower than that, and therefore, does actually look like a token that we should be paying more attention to, as speculators, guys. And of course, Pendle also just bridged over to Hype EVM. So, obviously a huge new blockchain that has been getting a lot of attention and is arguably becoming the place to be for all things DeFi. So great to see Pendle up 23% today. If we actually head up over here, we can see some other major outliers. We can see Stellar here, of course. OG token, been around for a long time here, 12.8% up. Story continuing its rise, guys, continuing to gain mindshare with its IP, with its IP play, basically tokenizing IP around the world. And there was actually a story today that came out from Upbit. So Upbit, of course, being the largest, volume exchange in Korea, actually saying that they're actually going to provide pairs for IP assets from Story in stablecoin and also in fiat, Korean won as well. So basically creating their own markets for on-chain IP through Story, which is obviously massive news and clearly has had an effect of the price of Story today. Of course, Chainlink as well, guys. Major move from Chainlink. We don't usually see these double-digit gains from Chainlink, of course. Look, guys, I was a big holder of Chainlink in the last bull market. Still a massive fan of it, of course. It is like the plumbing of the ecosystem, guys, of course. And we're going to be speaking a little bit more about Chainlink in a few minutes, actually. And we'll talk about why the Chainlink price has risen so drastically like that. And again, we've got Mantle here, 9.6% in our daily. It looked 44.6% up this week, okay? So a major move from Mantle. Now, of course, for those of you that don't know, Mantle was basically incubated and is by Bybit, okay, by one of the biggest exchanges in the world. And it's unsurprising to see it starting to get some attention simply because of the backing that it has, right? A multi-billion-dollar exchange. And as I said in a previous video, most of the major chains that actually made something of itself, like Solana, like BNB chain, etc., had major exchanges driving liquidity into the ecosystem. So very important that Mantle has Bybit behind it. Now, of course, Aptos here also up 8.7% and XRP 8% as well. So major moves here from some major protocols. So we're going to dive into this now and see what is actually making these moves happen. And look, guys, you tell me as well, if you've been buying any altcoins that you've been really excited about, let us know in the comments below and let's get into it. All right, first up, guys, the major news today comes once again from Donald Trump. Okay, so Donald Trump has now put a 401k order, which could send billions of dollars into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other digital assets. Okay, so look, as you can see here, Americans are going to be soon to be able to add crypto to their 401k accounts. All right, now look, for those of you that don't know, look, I'm not American, so there's no problem with not knowing this, but basically 401 accounts is basically accounts where for people that are saving up for their retirement. Okay, so basically every single month they get paid, they allocate some of their proportion of their salary into these 401ks, and basically that allows them to have a stash when they are old, and they can obviously retire on that money. Okay, so let's dive into what this actually means. So there was a really good breakdown here by Tom Dunleavy from Varys Capital Head of Venture. So he said, every 2 weeks, when Americans receive their paycheck, okay, they basically assign a portion of that to this 401k, and that can be anywhere between 1 and 10%. All right, guys, and usually it's like 60% stocks, 40% bonds. But now with this new order from Donald Trump, the American people are going to have the opportunity to actually put some of that into crypto. Yes, that's right. And now, look, if just 5% of crypto goes into that allocation, you can see billions coming into the asset class over the next few years. So anyway, look, this article is obviously really, really bullish, guys. Now, Tom Dunleavy here, as you can see, actually wrote a really awesome tweet, and he broke it down so we can see, like, how much are we actually talking about here, right? Like, is this just another fake news? But it's not fake news, guys. So he says, roughly 100 million Americans have a retirement investment vehicle known as a 401k. Every 2 weeks, a portion of their paycheck are routed directly into purchasing a mixture of stocks and bonds. On autopilot, key point here, on autopilot, okay? No discretion, just direct purchases based on their predefined allocations. Now, in aggregate, this is $12 trillion in assets with 50 billion of new capital flowing in every 2 weeks on autopilot. So, if 1% portfolio allocation comes into crypto, that's $120 billion in new flows. He goes on to say, at a 5% portfolio allocation, that's another 600 billion of new flows. Now, 600 billion of new flows of 5%, I mean, look, the market cap is only 3.94 trillion as of now. 600 billion is a significant amount of money that can be flowing on autopilot, okay? And I do think that moves like this really do make you think that the 4-year cycle is coming to a close, right, guys? Because if we've got these bids coming in, bull or bear, bull or bear, bull or bear, because it's coming on autopilot and it's coming all the time, guys, every single month, then why are we going to get these major swings, especially in Bitcoin, especially in Ethereum? Okay, like it looks like those days are done. Now, of course, we have altcoins, which I'm sure they're not going to have these bids. I don't think, you know, the American people are going to be putting 5 or 10% of their salary into Boss or Troll, but hey, who knows? No, realistically, guys, that's not going to happen. But like, I do think the 4-year cycle is done. If you agree with me, put it in the comment below, guys. Let me know what you think. Is the 4-year cycle for Bitcoin and Ethereum finally over? Now, of course, I'm not saying there's not going to be a drop. There's bound to be a drop when sentiment changes. But at the same time, you know, it's difficult to see it being a violent drop like it has been in the previous 4-year cycles, especially when this is creating a huge floor constantly by having this constant buybacks. Let's not even forget about the digital asset treasuries, strategic reserve, etc., etc. So yeah, it's really difficult to think that we're going to get these 4-year cycles. So major news coming out of the US here. Moving on to altcoins, guys. Of course, now we have Chainlink. Okay, so Chainlink have also joined the party. The strategic link token reserve. Okay, so look, what does this actually mean? Basically, what I like about this is that Chainlink are now going to be basically pooling all of the funds and revenue that Chainlink make and buying back the token and putting it into a reserve, okay? Creating what should be a deflationary model and obviously a lot of buy pressure on the Chainlink token. So as you can see here, they're basically using something here called payment abstraction, okay? On-chain infrastructure that reduces payment friction by enabling users to pay for Chainlink services in their preferred form of payment by gas tokens and stablecoins, and then it's converted to Link, okay? Using a combination of Chainlink services and of course DEX infrastructure. And the same thing goes for off-chain. So as you can see here, they've put a really cool diagram just for you to really get your head around it. So on-chain revenue, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC, etc., and off-chain revenue could be any fiat currency. And then they use this payment abstraction, and they basically use that to buy back Link. And then they put the Link in a reserve here, okay? And it goes on to say that demand for Chainlink has already created hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. And now this is all going to come back to buy back the token. So this is bullish news, guys. And this is the reason why Chainlink has pumped 11% plus today, okay? Because this obviously will have a big impact on their tokenomics, and this is all verifiable on chain. In fact, as you can see here, Chainlink have actually set up their own metrics chain.link reserve, so you can actually check it out yourself and see what is actually going on here. So you can see already, despite it, it literally started yesterday, guys. They've already they've already converted, right? $1.2 million in revenue, and it's all here for you to see. 65,539 Link, and you can even see the average cost basis here. So this is on the metrics.chain.link/reserve, guys, if you want to check it out. But for those Link holders out there, this should give you like a really nice feeling that that your protocol you're supporting which is getting hundreds of million dollars in revenue, is buying back the token in Link. And of course, again, it's going to create huge buy pressure. Chainlink here announced just a couple of days ago that they're launching Chainlink data streams, okay? And this is for US equities and ETFs. Now, US equities and ETFs have obviously been all the rage this bull market, right? And what Chainlink are offering are real-time, low-latency data to power the next generation of tokenized RWA markets, okay? It's already happening, right? It's already happening right now. Tokenized stocks are getting more and more volume by the day, guys. We're seeing a lot of this happening on various different exchanges, some that are specialized, and of course others as well, like Robinhood and various others. And Chainlink, of course, being the OG, as it says, backbone of blockchain, the OG Oracle provider. They got a lot of trust, transparency going on here. Chainlink is no doubt going to be powering all of this. Let's not forget, Sergei Nazarov is literally, in the White House to meet Donald Trump recently, and has been, I believe, a couple of times, and then they've even been quoted in the report that came out last week, the Bitcoin report by the White House. Okay. So Chainlink 100% is going to be pivotal to the infrastructure of these data streams for US equities and ETFs. And of course, that's going to drive a lot of revenue, institutional revenue, which is going to pump the price of Link, which is what we all want to see, right? So really, really bullish news coming out of the Link ecosystem, guys. And I think that, this is a fantastic time to be a Link holder, to be honest with you. If I had Link, I would be feeling very, very safe in that investment. If you want to find out more details about exactly what these data streams are, guys, you can just head over to the Chainlink Twitter here and see what is going on. Sticking with the whole institutional focus of crypto, digital asset treasuries for corporations has been all of the news recently, right? Now, of course, people are painting it as bullish news. Yes, great. Another company is going to buy 500 million of, you name it, your favorite altcoin or ETH or Bitcoin or SUI or Tron, whatever it might be. But what do you think? Do you think we're going to get a black swan? What is the next black swan? Because the next black swan is always there. Whether it's war, whether it's another, financial crash, whether it's COVID, like whatever it might be, it's always coming, and we're always getting one day closer to it. Sorry to be the doom of death today, guys. I don't want to be that person, but I'm a realist. Now, it's quite interesting, right? Because Vitalik here just did an interview on Bankless, okay? And he was asked about the ETH asset treasuries that are now being put under major corporations. And he said something that I found quite interesting, okay? So he said, wait for it. I'll press play. Watch it through, guys, and let me know what you think.
They participate in. And so, I think there's definitely very valuable services that are being provided there. And if you woke me up 3 years from now and told me that treasuries led to the downfall of ETH, then of course my guess for why would basically be that somehow they turned into an over leverage game, and then at some point a 30% drop turned into forced liquidations, that turned into a 50% drop, and then a 70 and 90% drop, and then that got compounded with a loss of credibility. I think the people in Ethereum in general, even including the people doing finance in Ethereum, are responsible people. These are not Duke One followers that we're talking about. And so I think, as long as leverage doesn't go too high and these things don't start getting into those kinds of mechanics, derivatives of ETH existing are a fundamentally fine and stable thing. So good for them.
First off, what a crazy Chad jawline. Vitalik is looking good, right? If you think Vitalik's looking good, guys, smash that like button. That is a Chad jawline if I've ever seen one. Giga Chad.
What are you into?
But anyways, look, what he was actually saying here is that, look, yes, it's great that all of these, companies are putting ETH in their treasury, but of course, the corporations and institutions are all going to want to get into DeFi and get these sweet, sweet yields. Okay, of course they are. And let's not forget, that we have Linea that's being built at the moment, which we're going to talk about shortly, that, is basically one of its major backers is Chainlink, okay, who's been buying all the Ethereum. So they're definitely going to be getting involved, and so a ton of others. And obviously what he's saying here is that if all of these companies with their treasuries then start getting active into DeFi, start taking out loans, start getting into liquid, restaking, which, by the way, Donald Trump said this week, well, not just Donald Trump, America, the US said it's not a security to do liquid restaking, which again is a major, major green light to institutions to actually start playing in DeFi. So this is what Vitalik is talking about. If they play in DeFi with that much on their treasury and that much ETH, and then of course there's a major move in the markets, or they get over leveraged, because the thing is, guys, obviously one company will do it and then the other one will say, hang on a minute, or the investors, well, why are we not earning yield? They're earning yield. Oh yeah, I want to earn yield. Oh yeah, okay. And then just like just like retail, and then we get more and more higher up the risk curve, trying to get more and more investors within that company, to sell more stocks, which enables them to buy more ETH on their treasury, which then enables them to put more into DeFi, and then makes them more risky. All it takes is one of those companies that have a huge amount of ETH on their treasury to blow up and basically get liquidated, which would obviously be could have a huge cascading effect, guys, and it would be a rush to the door for corporations to get out. And they would be selling huge tons of ETH. And yeah, don't get me wrong, ETH has a lot of liquidity, but not that much all at the same time. And of course, that could be a black swan event that could happen because of all of these companies, all these institutions buying up, let's say, ETH and then going into DeFi. Now, look, just something to think about, guys. Of course, we always need to think about the worst case scenario. It could happen. it could happen. And of course, it would be awful to see that happen because we would all get absolutely wrecked. But Vitalik, fair play to the guy. He brings it up here. He tells us that this is something that we need to be wary of. Look, now speaking of institutional adoption of Ethereum, let's actually talk about what they've just launched here on Linea. Now, of course, Linea is a layer 2 Ethereum network and is very, very closely bonded with Ethereum, okay? Actually, by using Linea, 20% of the gas fee, which is all in ETH, by the way, all of gas fees on Linea is Ethereum, the underlying asset. 20% of that is burned in ETH and taken off the market, and 80% of that is actually burned into Linea. So it's very, very tightly, basically built together, Linea and Ethereum. And of course, Joe Lubin is behind a lot of this stuff. Now, I'm interested, guys. On this channel, I like Black Hole. Black Hole Dex. Black Hole Dex.
Clever.
On AVAX, run by Elio Trades and Alex Becker. Now, one of the reasons why I like that platform is that, of course, it is run really, really well with the V33 mechanics, guys. Of course, they've got some really cool features going on in which you can obviously burn all of your black and become a permanent, basically, stakeholder in the Black Hole ecosystem. Now, I've obviously been researching, guys, for more V3 dexes that are coming up, and I came across Etherex here. So Etherex was just launched this week, okay, and it plans to basically fuel Linea's quest to boost Ethereum capital. So Etherex is built around Ethereum's original uncompromising vision, decentralized infrastructure with full user alignment and greater individual flexibility. Only now with tools like Linea and ZK EVMs can we finally realize that vision without compromise. And as you can see here, they're basically calling it a meta dex, okay, guys? And if we go further on here, they obviously talk similar to what Elio and the guys at Black Hole are saying, is that with Uniswap, there's no obvious value accrual to token holders, and so a meta dex essentially solves that dex trilemma by trading fees going back to the LPs, as it does on Black Hole, and obviously token holders as well. 100% of fees and incentives go to token holders, and contributors only receive locked tokens. Again, same with the Black Hole and in most V3 dexes. There's no insider unlocks, no early exits, and no value extraction. Now, if we actually head over here to Linea's Twitter account, you can see that more information about what Linea is. So Linea hasn't actually launched their token yet. It's weird, right? Because it feels like Linea's been around for ages. It's been around for a long, long time. They still haven't dropped their token, okay? And as you can see, the best chain for ETH capital. Now, how much has Chainlink bought of Ethereum? A lot. And how much of Ethereum is being, basically flowed in from institutions, from various different vehicles? It's extremely high, guys. They're going to want to be playing in DeFi, and Linea looks like the place that that's actually going to happen. As I mentioned earlier in the video, 20% of all net transactions paid in ETH will be burned, directly reducing ETH supply, supporting layer 1 value accrual, and increasing the value of ETH, okay? So very, very symbiotic relationship between Linea and ETH. Now, bridged ETH will generate DeFi rewards. Now, stick with this, guys. So ETH deposits will produce staking rewards to be distributed to LPs. So fueling Linea's DeFi ecosystem, Linea's LPs will accumulate this native yield in addition to returns from Linea DeFi activity, creating the best risk-adjusted returns and making Linea the best chain for ETH capital. Automatic stake. If you just bridge your ETH to Linea, you will be getting staking rewards, okay? But without actually effectively staking your ETH, you'll get it natively, and of course you'll earn returns from Linea's DeFi activity. So hot stuff. And then again, going further down here, you can see more information about the fund management by Ethereum native stewards. Now look at that. Consensus, of course, which is run by Joe Lubin, and he's the main guy behind that, and Chainlink, the company, the institution that's been buying tons and tons of millions and millions of dollars of ETH and putting it on their platform. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important because if we head over here to the next tab, Etherex, which has just gone live on Linea, has been basically promoted by Joe Lubin himself. So look, as you can see here, guys, Joe Lubin himself on X literally was shilling Etherex, okay? So excited to see Etherex live on Linea. Etherex is a vibrant meta dex that reflects the best of Ethereum's principles. You know the drill, guys. He really went in and to see Joe Lubin, the co-founder of Ethereum, okay? Founder of Consensus as well, which is like a huge, huge company that supports the Ethereum blockchain and its BD and many other various business operations. That is obviously bullish. And this is why I believe Etherex is where the institutions are going to play in DeFi. Now, don't take my word for institutions playing in DeFi on ETH. Take Joe Lubin's.
I want to start with you here about this idea that Strategy, MicroStrategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy, now Strategy, has gotten so much attention for its Bitcoin corporate treasury playbook that other companies started to do the same. And now you're seeing companies do that with Ether as well, including Sharplink Gaming, which you are chairman of. What is the difference between using an Ether corporate treasury strategy versus Bitcoin?
Well, Michael Saylor's done a brilliant job with his particular implementation of the strategy. being able to do some of the same things and many other things using Ether is actually much more powerful because Ether is a productive and yielding asset. So we've been accumulating capital in various ways every single day. We've been instantly turning it into Ether and instantly staking it or restaking it, and we'll take advantage of decentralized finance yielding capabilities. And so we're able to take our Ether and grow it directly. And we believe that we'll be able to accumulate more Ether per fully diluted share much faster than any other Ethereum-based project, or certainly faster than the Bitcoin-based projects.
So you heard it there, guys, from the man himself, Joe Lubin, the co-founder of Ethereum, the founder of Consensus, and the chairman of SharpLink, okay, saying clearly that with the Ethereum that they're buying off the market every single day, multiple tens of millions of dollars, they're going to be putting into DeFi, okay, whether it's liquidity staking, all over the place. DeFi, Ethereum, institutions, it's happening, it's on, and we've got Joe Lubin himself shilling Etherex, okay? Now, if we head over here to Etherex account, so the ticker is REX, okay? So that's what you need to know. The ticker is REX, and it's on Linea. Now, it says here that Etherex isn't your average DEX, okay? Now, something that looks pretty cool compared to what I can see with Black Hole, of course, it's got the 3-3 tokenomics that we love on this channel, and I'm sure many of you guys do. It also has auto-compounding yield options baked in, okay? So currently in Black Hole, I think you have to go to Yield Yak to get auto-compounding, but it looks like with Etherex, you can actually do that on the platform itself. Now, if we actually head over to the Etherex exchange, it's etherex.finance here, guys, you can see all the different liquidity pools. As you can see here, they've already got a lot of major volume, okay? $185 million already in just a few days here. And you can see all the different APRs here that are currently available. Now, I've actually looked here from the top down. So this is the highest TVL pools. Now, of course, this is in the millions of dollars. You can see that, ETH, of course, ETH and ETH, it's basically a stable pool. It's still yielding right now 35% or so, which is pretty good, right? It's basically a stable pool. And of course, if you're holding ETH or an ETH whale, would be good to look at. Now, actually, of course, for you DJs out there, we like to look at crazy APRs. And look at this one, 1,254,000, guys. Don't sweat that. It's because the TVL is so low. But if we actually look at some of the decent TVL, look, ETH and REX here. I mean, look, REX is literally the native token of this new V33 DEX that's being pushed by Joe Lubin and Linea, and by effect Ethereum is actually paying 5,905% APR right now with about 272K here in the liquidity pool. So pretty good, if you ask me. And there's various other guys. You can also go down here and you can see, you can make the page bigger. Of course, there's USDC and REX as well at 331,000. Now, of course, be careful, guys. Of course, there's obviously impermanent loss here that can make you not make as much money as you might like. I recommend, if you don't know what permanent loss is, that you look up on YouTube right now, what is impermanent loss, before aping into things like this. This is for advanced DeFi users. For those of us that are already playing around in Black Hole or Aerodrome, you'll know the drill. That's why I'm bringing this to your attention, guys, because I think Etherex is going to be, has the potential to be a major token in institutional FI, future, as we're going to see with more and more digital asset treasuries of institutions coming on chain and getting involved in DeFi. Now, actually, if we head over here and look at how the token performed since launch, of course, it only launched yesterday, guys. You're getting the hot alpha here on this channel. Now, look, it's launched. It went, it flew up like most tokens do at the beginning, but you can see here, it's obviously had a sell-off, guys, and it does look like it's getting some kind of rounded bottom here and finding some support. If we actually head over here, the market cap's only $140 million, guys, like right now. So we're early. Like the token's been 1 day out here, guys. And look, if this has the potential, which it clearly does, because Joe Lubin is pushing it and he is the SharpLink chairman, and they're buying tens and hundreds of millions of dollars of Ethereum, they're going to be playing around, and other institutions, with this basically, exchange that has been, told by everyone that this is a safe exchange and it's backed by the best. That $140 million market cap seems like a steal to me. And again, if you compare that to Aerodrome or other major V33 DEXs, it's a tenth of the size, or so of those market caps, guys. So I think this is a potential opportunity for those of you that watch my channel as a potential, a token that I'm looking at purchasing. Not financial advice, guys, never financial advice, but it's something that I think I've convinced myself that this is a stable product. And obviously at the same time, if you buy REX, you can obviously get into those juicy pools and earn some more sweet APR, not just on Avalanche, but also on Linea, which might also give you some airdrop rewards when the Linea TG actually happens. So multiple reasons there, guys. Now, let's actually head over to the final segment of the show. Okay, guys, so finally, on the last section of the show here, we're going to be speaking about the Memecoin Wars, because I tell you now, it's heating up. Let's Bonk on the left side Pump.fun on the right side, and we have bags somewhere sat at the back. But look, it has been intense, okay? So as you can see here, there's a really cool June analytics board here, so you can really see exactly what's been going on. So in orange, it's Let's Bonk, okay? And in green, in green, light green here is Pump.fun. So as you can see, Pump.fun has been killing the Solana Memecoin Launchpad ecosystem for a very, very long time. However, as you can see here, pretty much at the start of July or so, BONK started to eat its lunch. And this was shocking to the community. This came at the same time, of course, as Pump.fun raised billions of dollars in capital, and its TGE and its token has tanked ever since, and it hasn't been a great time for Pump.fun, let's be honest, and Pump holders. However, it looks like that narrative has just about started flipping on its head. And who would bet against a project that has over $2 billion of liquidity and of investment to deploy at any one time? So as you can see here, like just in the last 2-3 days, Pump.fun has started to flip the script back of Let's Bonk and get back into the ring, and is not having it anymore. So in fact, the last 24 hours, 22,405 Pump.fun tokens compared to only 3,550. So a major shift. Let's actually get into this a little bit more, guys. So look, as you can see, okay, so heading over to X, Adam here, the dashboard guy, as he calls himself, the guy that put together the dashboard I just showed you on June. So, hat tilt to Adam. But no, he's basically saying that he was attempting to pinpoint what is it that brought Pump back to life, because like they were getting beaten up in rounds 3 and 4 by BONK. And he was saying that basically Elon, who's the founder of Pump.fun, and of course is very influential here, every time he tweets, he's noticed that there's a trigger of a wave of Pump token volume, which in turn triggers a wave of token creations on Pump.fun. So as you can see here, it's saying a number of token deploys increased 3 times immediately after Elon's tweet, and tokens created 5x. So he's given us this chart here to kind of have a look at exactly how that's happened. So he's given this example here, which obviously gave you this huge, his huge rise, and once again here, which was an even bigger rise. And so obviously Elon being, present in the community and basically fighting back against Let's Bonk gives a lot of confidence, obviously, to those potentially launching into the Pump ecosystem. Now, today we had some major news coming from the Pump.fun ecosystem, basically introducing what they're calling a glass-full foundation. So this glass-full foundation aims to accelerate the most organic, vibrant, and promising communities in the Pump.fun ecosystem. Now, as I said, they've got $2 billion in reserve. Who would bet against that? And they are going to inject what they call significant liquidity into ecosystem tokens to support our most diehard cults. So if you've been kind of turned off from Pump.fun because of the recent price performance of Pump since it launched, now could be a good time to check out the ecosystem tokens, because there's huge buy pressure coming to the table. Now, if we head down here, as you can see, the Pump.fun is basically saying the foundation that will help our mission of growing of the Solana ecosystem exponentially. So it's already begun with supporting several projects receiving initial support, and will continue deploying capital. Now, speaking of deploying capital, if we actually head over here to the fees.pump.fun, this is a new dashboard that's come up recently, spun up by the Pump.fun team. It actually shows you how much Pump the team have been buying back recently. So as you can see here, the total Pump purchases so far has been over $25 million, guys, and it's even a chart here that shows you exactly the percentage of how much Pump has been bought that day based on the previous day's revenue. And there's been some days, as you can see here, a few days, which has actually been over even the revenue of the protocol itself. And now, as of today even, it's pretty much 100% of. So at the moment, Pump is buying, all the revenue it's getting is buying back into the token, buying back into the token, buying back into the token. And this proves that. Okay, so there's obviously significant capital coming back into the Pump ecosystem. And it's cool, again, if you're a Pump holder or you're thinking about getting into the Pump ecosystem, that you can see how the Pump team is, supporting and holding up its ecosystem. And obviously this has given a lot of confidence to their community. Like, this is Elon, okay, the co-founder of Pump.fun. Now he's talking, and he's been mentioning a lot of different meme coins, that obviously if he's mentioning it, then likelihood is Pump.fun is supporting it. At the very least is giving it a very much seal of credibility, okay, because he's tweeting about it, and he wouldn't tweet about meme coins if he didn't know who they were, if he thought they were shady. So he mentions here Troll, USDUC, and Tokapu, just to name a few. And he's talking about them having real communities, okay? And he's really loving what they're seeing from those specific projects over here. Now, if you love the pure Pump.fun meme energy, they just dropped a video yesterday that was pure degen play. Okay, guys, I'm going to play it to you because if you haven't seen it, it's pure degen vibes. Viewer discretion is advised. Okay, stay with me.
This job's depressing, but Pump.fun keeps me alive.
I can't feel my legs, but the coin I launched before impact, absolutely printing.
It's a cupsy, baby.
My wife's gone. The Lambo's gone. But my portfolio is up. Ah!
We have to sell the dev wallet. Sell it all.
She left me at the altar, but Pump.fun never will.
You have 2 weeks to live. That's fine. I only need 6 days to retire off Pump Fun.
Pure degen play there, but bring in those vibes back to Solana, guys. Obviously, Pump.fun are here and they're ready for war, okay, with Bonk.fun and their competitors. These Memecoin Wars are heating up big time, and we're going to be covering this on the channel, guys, because it's pretty epic to see. Now, these Memecoin launchpads are literally generating so much revenue that we're talking about titans now of the industry. It's going to be a fascinating race to watch. It's going to be a fascinating race to watch, and of course, there's going to be opportunities there. As you can see here, going back to Adam, he's saying Pump.fun's revenue has gone from 270k to 1.4 million in just 2 days, okay? And they bought back 830k today so far. Now, obviously, this was yesterday, so it was actually more than that. So then the real question really is, how long are these buybacks actually going to last? How much dry powder does Pump have? Well, don't forget, they have $2 billion or so of dry powder, as confirmed by their founder Elon. So if you're asking me, I think they have a very, very long runway of buybacks if and when they need to. Now, obviously, I think it will be dictated, obviously, by price as well. Now, if we actually head over here and actually look at the price of Pump at the moment, as you can see, it's still pretty stagnant, okay? It's not right at its lows, but it's still below the price that they did their $500 million raise, okay? So just so you can see here, the price here is 0.003381. The price that they sold their $500 million raise at was 0.004, as reported by CoinDesk, okay? And that was at a $4 billion FDV. Now, as you can see here on CoinGecko, it's still a $3.376 billion FDV, which is big, but it's below the price that they actually sold their tokens at. So don't forget that Pump.fun have years of revenue runway even before that they actually raised the $500 million capital. So even if they really wanted to, they could put that whole $500 million back into the chart and they would still be profitable based on the FTV being lower than what they raised. So look, guys, heading back over to the Pump.fun revenue dashboard here, it does say here at the bottom that the buybacks can be discontinued at any time, okay, any time. So that actually indicates that this may not be as permanent as you think. In fact, if the price of Pump recovers and thousands of tens and maybe even hundreds of thousands of tokens a day are being launched and the revenue is swimming and the sentiment is up, and of course, don't forget, Pump also have these new initiatives that I spoke about earlier in the video, then I do expect these to taper off, and I do think that this is just temporary, you know, basically operation on the Pump price that the team is pumping liquidity into. I don't expect these to last forever, but they are not alone in pumping their own ecosystem, because Bonk has obviously seen what Pump.fun are doing here, and of course this rivalry is really heating up, guys, and they've decided that actually they're also going to be helping their ecosystem projects, and they made an announcement here today that they've actually acquired $750,000 worth of useless over the past week or so, okay? Basically for ongoing strategic fund to support the next stage of project's growth, okay? So Bonk.fun also is in the ring, as you can see there, the Bonk mascot themselves, punching up punchbag. Maybe they've got a picture there of Pump.fun on the punchbag on the other side, but it is heating up, guys. You see this, right? Incentives, buybacks, you name it, foundations, ongoing strategic funds. This is a all-out war in the Solana Launchpad. So not just the 750k, they've also said they're committing another 1% of funds to further strategically align with their community, targeting the top 10 projects that meet certain metrics. Now, these metrics will be made transparent and public to avoid confusion, which, again, may give us an opportunity to, well, we will be able to work out which projects will get this injection of capital. Having said that, I have looked at the useless chart, and we'll get it up on the screen here, guys, because even though they've said they've acquired 750 grand of useless, the chart isn't really reflecting that at the moment. So do be careful and don't just pile in if you see that a token has received an investment from the Pump.fun or Bonk ecosystems. But it does tell you that the project is as legit as a meme is going to be, because clearly the teams of Bonk and Pump will have done their own research. Now finally here, for the foreseeable future, it says 2% of the total Bonk.fun revenue will be used to buy back tokens and stay fully aligned with the top communities on the platform. So there you have it, guys. Both Bonk.fun and Pump.fun really going to town, really putting their hands in their pockets, putting their money where their mouth is to win this war. So what do you think, guys? Do you think Pump.fun is going to get back to its glory days, or do you think that it's going to keep falling into Goblin Town, and do you think the buybacks are not sustainable? Let us know in the comments below. Or maybe you think that Bonk.fun is the new emperor in town, is the new cool cat in town, and is going to double down on its recent improvements and is going to take the emperor's crown from Pump.fun. Guys, let us know in the comments below. It is fascinating to say the least. And of course, there are also outsiders outside of Bonk.fun and Pump.fun that are also trying to get in the ring as well. We're going to be keeping a close eye on this on the channel. If you want my opinion, I am not betting against right now Pump.fun simply because of what they've already achieved, their current community, and of course their huge stack and treasury that they have available to them. But let's watch this space, guys, because I believe that new entrance into a market such as Bonk is actually healthy for the ecosystem. Of course, it means that Pump.fun have to up their game and not just continue to keep going as they are. They have to continually innovate and improve their service and their product to ensure that they don't get disrupted. So let's see how it plays out over the next couple of months and years, and I will be watching this closely on this channel and keeping you up to date with all of the latest developments. All right, guys, that's all we've got time for today, and we're wrapping up another major week in crypto. The markets are green, and so go out there, have an amazing weekend, and come back to the channel on Monday because we're going to be dropping more and more insights and alpha just for you. Do not forget, guys, if you've been enjoying the content, smash that like button, hit the bell notification, and get notified as soon as I drop the next video. We are building a true alpha community here on the channel. Have a good weekend, guys. I'll see you back here on Monday.